Hello, everybody, and welcome. We are so glad to see all of you here. My name is Christine Bowles, and I am the Assistant Director for Wisconsin Space Grant Consortium and Program Director for First Nations Launch. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I see some of your faces. I don't see all. Thank you for those who show me your lovely, maybe they're blue, maybe they're hazel, maybe they're green. I'm not quite sure, but I surely do appreciate it when I get to see folks. And I love it that we have new people that I don't know, but also some old standbys that I see that we've seen for many years. And not that I'm calling you old, Charlie, but you are the first one on my page right now. So if you wouldn't mind to start our meeting in the chat, put your school, where you're from, so we have that information and we can put that in. Because I think, Connie, you are doing attendance. Am I correct?
I'm doing attendance, and that will be helpful to me.
Excellent. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started because time is one of the most valuable commodities that we all have. So welcome to First Nations Launch Competition 2023. We are excited beyond words to be in our 14th year. And that's pretty amazing for a NASA program that isn't run out of NASA to be continuing to go. So we're really excited. So meeting the team. Like I said, my name is Christine Bowles, and I'm the Assistant Director for Wisconsin Space Grant and the Program Director for First Nations Launch. Kevin Crosby is the Director at, and if I do some editing while we're here, oh, nope. I was like, okay, oh, what just happened? This always messes up. Here we go, back to slide 2. So Kevin Crosby is the Director of Wisconsin Space Grant. He comes in and out on First Nations Launch a little bit, but and we always include him, and you'll get to meet him during the launch weekend. I'm going to go ahead and let our team introduce themselves. Courtney, you are up next. This isn't the excitement. We have a new team member. Go ahead, Courtney.
Good evening, everybody. Bonjour. My name is Courtney Kadoff. I'm the new First Nations Launch Project Coordinator. I've been here for about 6 weeks, and I'm enjoying it a lot. So I look forward to working with you guys and getting to know you a little better.
And Courtney, you know, typically, because you're new, I just want to give you an opportunity to tell us what tribe you're from as well.
Sure. Yep. I'm from the Forest County Potawatomi here in northern Wisconsin.
And so Courtney is drinking out of a fire hose as she's trying to get up to speed as quickly as she can. And we just returned from the AISES conference, and some of you may have had the opportunity to meet her while we were there. And if not, you'll get an opportunity to get to know her throughout the competition year. Megan Goller, she is not on. However, Courtney, if you want to bring her over a second, that'd be great because you guys are in the same office. Megan, would you like to introduce yourself?
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Megan Goller. I'm the accounts assistant for the Wisconsin Space Grant Consortium. I do help out a little bit with First Nations Launch, particularly with any reimbursements you may have, such as travel and project expenses. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. And then Connie.
Hi, everybody. I'm Connie Engberg, and I'm a project support assistant for Wisconsin Space Grant, including First Nations Launch. And yeah, you'll be hearing from me quite a bit. You'll be turning in your reports and asking me questions. So I'm here to help you if you have any questions.
And she's a key contact when you're registering, you're submitting the notice of intent to compete. She's going to be able to walk you through that if you have any questions. Now on to the First Nations Launch Administrative Team, and let's start with Frank Noble.
Hey, greetings everyone. Welcome back to the FNL competition this year for 2023. My name is Frank Noble. I will be your technical advisor on certain parts of your rocket, and any advice you need on construction that no one else can answer, I'll be there for you. Been here since it ever started. I do run the launches at at Richard Bong under Wisconsin AAA, and been involved with high power rocketry since 1996.
Very good. That's probably before some of you were born. Oh my goodness.
Thanks, Christine.
You're welcome.
By the way, I did pay my heating bill. Of course, I don't have the heat on. I was at a neighbor's putting in a hot water heater, and I go, "Oh, I got a call."
Gotta go. All right. Okay. Mark Abatasaway.
Yeah, hey everyone, it's Mark Tosway. I am a structures engineer at Blue Origin out in Seattle. I am the First Nations launch. I don't know what my title is anymore. It's changed so many times over the years. I will call myself project assistant. I primarily assist the advisors, making sure they're satisfying their requirements and helping the students properly. I assist the teams and students with acquiring mentors, rocketry mentors, from their community to be able to allow them to test properly and procure the dangerous goods such as the motors and the black powder, and to be able to do test flights properly and safely. And then I'm also on hand to students to answer questions about the handbook. And then I also manage the judges. We have a set of professional judges from, I think, 8 different companies that will be reviewing your reports and your presentations, as well as myself reviewing the reports and giving you feedback. Oh, and I'm Ojibwe First Nation. I'm from the Ondek Amnakoning tribe on Manitoulin Island, Ontario, Canada.
And the one thing that he did not share is he is one of our alumni. And so he participated with the University of Minnesota Twin Cities team back many moons ago, and then came back to work with us. Not on our list is Aaron Ashley. Aaron Ashley is also assists us on occasion and helps with the Launch to Learn program, and then also on the launch weekend. Aaron, if you're on, would you mind introducing yourself as an official part of the administrative team?
Hey guys, Aaron Ashley. I'm Omaha and Dakota Sioux. I did First Nations launch in 2018 as a student at CU Boulder. I'm a systems engineer at Raytheon Technologies in Tucson, Arizona, and have been involved as a judge or admin help for this program for about 4 years. So nice to meet you all.
And so also, if you were at the AISES conference and you stopped by our booth, you may have seen Aaron. He was there along with Courtney and Connie, greeting you all and telling you a little bit about the program. Bob Justice is not on with us. However, he does represent Illinois Tripoli Prefecture, and he will be with us during launch weekend, and will also be assisting with our virtual Launch to Learn program in January. And then we have Shanessa Jackson, and I don't think Shanessa is on. Shanessa? From Kennedy Space Center, and she is our key contact that helps us to have the program and coordinate our VIP tour when we take our winning teams down to the center. So what is First Nations launch? Oh, boy, don't use a scroll bar and it'll maybe work. There we go. All right, what is First Nations launch? It is a competition that is offered to tribal colleges and universities, Native American serving non-tribal institutions, and AISES collegiate chapters. One of the questions we often get is, well, we don't have an official AISES chapter on our campus. Maybe we don't have enough members right now, etc. You still qualify as individuals that are part of the AISES organization. And so, and the big thing that we're trying to do is help to demonstrate engineering and design skills through direct application in high-powered rocketry. And so you're going to go through the whole process of designing, building, and flying a high-powered rocket, and it gets pretty exciting throughout the year. We do have restrictions on rocket motors and dimensions, but we put these limitations on so that you as a team and individual members of that team can show your knowledge, creativity, and imagination of what you have the capability of designing. And in the end, the result is it's a great aerospace learning experience that is very unique to the Native American community. And so I'm going to play a video for you. I think I have everything on correctly, and it just kind of will capture what First Nations launch is all about. So here we go.
The First Nations launch has been just an amazing opportunity for me.
The whole goal is to design, build, and fly a rocket.
We launched our rocket earlier this day. It was really exciting.
No matter what team they're on, everyone works together.
The camaraderie that's built among the teammates and the team members, students, advisors, grad students, undergrads.
Launching our rocket for the first time was exciting. I didn't know what to expect, so just watching it up in the sky and being able to hear it was just amazing.
So I don't know about you guys. If you thought that was a pretty cool video, you can give me a thumbs up in the chat, because it really does highlight what the program is about. And what I get excited about with that video is we put that together the year that, during COVID, and had to make a lot of adjustments. We were doing virtual launches that year. And just to see the success of the teams that were able to participate in the program that year makes me really excited. So the competition will take place April 28th, 2023 at Carthage College. That is when we will kick off the event with a welcome breakfast in the morning. We will have a motor build workshop, breakout sessions where we have professionals coming in from all over the country to be able to host a mini presentation that you'll be able to attend. We'll have finally our safety inspections, and then in the evening, it's a long day, we will have our oral presentations in front of the judges. And then on the 29th, we will all go out to, you heard Frank a little bit earlier, go out to Richard Bong Recreational Park in Kansasville, Wisconsin, and that is launch day. We ask everybody to arrive at 8 a.m. and we go through safety briefings and start prepping our rockets for the first launch to go off at about 9 a.m. And then in the evening, we have a closing banquet where we'll have a special guest speaker. And this year's speaker, we already know, which is we're ahead of the game. We're really excited to announce that Captain Hidea Star Eagle, who with the United States Space Force will be our guest of honor for the evening, and she'll be one of the judges as well. So we're really excited. And then we'll have a closing banquet where we give out many of our awards that evening. And then April 30th, we always tell teams, make sure that you include that in your stay, because that is the rain date in case we have inclement weather on Saturday. It hasn't happened very often, but it has happened. And then also gives us an extra day to have some certification launches if anybody wants to try to earn their level 1 or level 2 certification. So what does it look like? We accept 24 teams into our program. Each team in general will have approximately 4 to 6 team members. Doesn't mean you're limited to that number, but it is a sweet spot. So some teams may have less and some teams may have more. So that is really up to your individual school. We have a Gateway, Moon, and Mars challenge, and I think I go over that in another slide, and I'll tell you the differences between the different challenges. So for the Moon and the Mars, which are a little bit more competitive and the one that you can earn first, second, and third place prizes for, the notice of intent is due October 21st. So today's Tuesday. That means they are due Friday by 11:59 p.m. If you are thinking of considering the Gateway Challenge, your NOI is due December 16th. Now, the caveat in that is we only accept 24 teams. And this year, Courtney, can you tell me about how many teams have shown interest in the program?
We're close to 30.
Close to 30 teams. So if you're thinking about the Gateway, I would encourage you, get your application in, your notice of intent before by this Friday would be ideal. And that way we make sure that we have room for all of our gateway teams as well. So to begin and kick off our program, there is a certification workshop that we host. We have found this to be one of our, hidden diamonds, hidden gems, and teams really enjoy it. And they learn a lot. And I'm trying to think, different schools that have participated in the Launch to Learn program in the past would be University of North Carolina, Pembroke, Lakuta Ray, I'm trying to think, United Tribes. Team, you might need to help me here. College of Muskogee Nation, Kapiolani Community College, Alaska. Am I missing anybody, Connie? Or Frank or Mark?
Possibly, my mind is somewhere else.
Well, anyways, y'all have, Frank, were you gonna say something?
No, I was going to say, why don't you repeat it? No, I'm only kidding.
So this year in our in-person workshop, which is now closed, we will have 2 of our judges participating, earning their level 1 rocket certification. We also have Lakuta Ray, Honolulu Community College, Queen's University,
MIT.
Turtle Mountain.
And Turtle Mountain. So we have 5 different teams that will be attending. So the Rocket Workshop is really an opportunity for you to send. Typically, we encourage you to send an advisor, a team lead, and a team member. And we encourage the advisor to attend because it helps the advisor as you go through the process of building that rocket to know what to expect and maybe to have some additional insight to be able to help and assist the teams. So when it's at Carthage College, we pay for travel, lodging, and the workshop meals. And we provide each student, each participant with a rocket kit, a motor, and a EEE Rocketry Association Level 1 certification. And that is capped out at 15 people because of space. Then we also host a virtual workshop, which will take place in January. Now, at this workshop, we limit it to 30 participants. And again, same thing, 3 individuals from each school. At a max, you can have less, of course, and we will send you your rocket kit and your supplies. We will provide, we'll work with a local EEE if you're going to do a launch locally versus bringing your rocket to Carthage College to do the launch. We'll provide the motor and your level 1 certification as well. And so the key is, in order to be eligible for either of those, you would have to submit a notice of intent to compete, 1. 2, you must be registered for the Launch to Learn workshop. And then if you as an individual are planning on attending, then you need to register for the First Nations launch competition and be on the NOI list of team members so that we have all of that information. And I can answer questions at the end. So the Gateway Challenge. So this, the Gateway Challenge we introduced last year. It is a 1-semester program where teams are required to design and construct a dual deploy high-powered rocket. And they can choose from one of 2 kits, either the Mad Cow 4-inch diameter Super DX kit or the Mad Cow 4-inch diameter fiberglass Super DX3 kit. And we chose the same kit, but with different
Materials.
Thank you. Different materials because it's building upon the other program or the other challenges that we're working at with this year. And structure is our focus of the challenges. So teams may customize their kits. They can add special add-ons that would be provided by the manufacturer. And we always say, you're using a jolly logic. Oh, I wasn't supposed to do it. Who's doing this? Frank, I took you away. My apologies.
That's okay.
Go.
Okay, a team may customize the kit with special add-ons provided by the manufacturer. And if you're going to go overboard, you need to talk to me or Bob. Any major alterations. The energetics of a Jolly Logic altimeter shall be used for the main deployment recovery. There is no payload associated with this challenge, with focus being on the safe and complete selection, simulation, procurement, assembly, fabrication, and flight of the kit rocket. The rocket shall reach an apogee of 2,500 feet. That's 2,500 feet AGL. And AGL stands for actual ground level. Next. This is the gateway flight profile. Of course, you have liftoff, you have the power ascent, the coast ascent, and you kind of go around the world at apogee, and your drogue comes out at no higher than 2,500 feet. And then you have your descent and your main parachute deployment at a specified altitude no less than 300 feet above surface. The Moon Challenge. The Moon teams are required to design and test, fabricate specific structural design components. Nose cone shoulders, the nose cone or shoulders, bulkheads, centering rings, fins, avionic sled. The focus is on the material science, fabrication, and understanding the material properties and strengths. Teams shall design their rocket for an expected apogee of 3,000 feet to 4,000 feet AGL. You have those two altitudes to deal with: no less than 300, no higher than 4,000, or say no lower than 3,000, no higher than 4,000 AGL. Next.
If I interject, the key component for the Moon Challenge is to see the word specific. So the Moon Challenge focuses on nose cones, bulkheads, fins, and avionics sled. You'll see the difference between that and the Mars.
Right.
And I think somebody said that the chat might be disabled, which I'm not sure why. So I'll look into it.
Here's the flight profile of the Moon Challenge. Of course, we have the liftoff, power ascent, coast, and you can see the brackets between 4,000 and 3,000. No less than 3,000, no higher than 4,000. And we have the apogee and descent. And of course, you have your main parachute deployed no less than 300 feet AGL. And of course, every rocket should have a locating system on it too, either an RF or a audible. And of course, your eyes work good too. Okay, the Mars Challenge is a little different. Select the base dual deploy kit from your pre-selected list. Design, test, and fabricate all structural dual deploy rocket components. Airframe, which will be structural as body tubes. Couplers, which are the internal tubes. Nose cones and the shoulder of the nose cone. Bulkheads or bulk plates, centering rings, fins, and avionic sleds. These are all the components that must be manufactured and fabricated by the team. You can utilize off-the-shelf motor mount tubes is recommended for all rockets, and it's actually going to be mandatory. Select a motor from the list in the handbook. Design your rocket for an expected apogee of 3,500 to 4,000 feet AGL. You can tell there's a difference between the Mars and the Moon. You go a little higher, or you go the same altitude, but the altitude's a little tighter. It's closed up by another 500 feet, so you got to be pretty close to your altitude, predicted altitude. And here's the Mars profile, which is a little different than the Moon. You can tell the brackets are 3,500 feet minimum. The Moon was 3,000 to 4,000. The Mars, of course, is 4,000 to 3,500 feet. We have liftoff, power ascent, coast, apogee, and the drogue comes out. And of course, again, we're going to use dual deploy for the main deployment, and do not deploy your main chute no less than 300 feet And don't forget to use your rocket locating eyeballs, radio frequency devices, or GPS.
Thanks, Frank. Mark, I think
Yep.
you are up.
Oh, this is me. Hey, everyone. So competition scoring summary, because Frank just completed the competition summary. Your projects are judged on your written design reports. So you use a template, you'll use the competition handbook to write reports at five different milestones. And then you'll also have 2 virtual presentations, plus 1 on launch weekend that you'll be scored on. And then you'll also be scored on your launch day flight and challenge performance. So your design reports coincide with the milestones, which consist of a proposal, preliminary design, a critical design, flight readiness, and a post-launch assessment. Now, bonus points can be earned through outreach efforts. I think we have a slide talking about more outreach later on. Yeah, Christine will share that with you. And then an example of one item among the dozens of items that you're scored on launch weekend include electronic payload bays are judged on neatness and simplicity. So you can see in the picture there's a nice transparent acrylic tube showing a nice clean avionics bay. So we like you to keep your electronics clean. That's kind of a safety reason going into launch weekend.
There we go. So what do we supply to each of your teams? Marketing materials, which I believe you've already either received via snail mail or through an email. And if you haven't, and you want to have posters or postcards that you can print out on your campus or the announcement of opportunity, put your name in the chat and just put marketing, and we'll make sure, Courtney will make sure that you get that information. So marketing materials, rocketry workshop, for up to 3 members of your team. And then project travel award. Each team receives $4,000, up to $4,000. It is reimbursable. So you spend the money, we send you a check for that amount of money. And those are issued through Carthage College, and Megan, who introduced herself, she'll coordinate those reimbursements. And then we will give additional travel funds for teams that are traveling from Mountain Pacific, Hawaiian, or Alaskan time zones. And that will all be laid out in award letters. Each new school, new college or university, will receive 2 rocketry reference books. One is the Modern Rocket Design and Construction. The other is Modern High Powered Rocketry 2. We encourage you to keep those on hand. They're really a great resource for when you just sometimes need something physical touch to be able to go to. We give you report feedback. The goal is that teams will receive their report feedback 1 week prior to the next report being submitted, so that they can incorporate any changes that need to be done. We give you a low-powered rocket for a demo flight. So kind of like a little Estes rocket, we'll send that to your team, and then you will launch that. And the reason why we do that is we found that there are some, not all, teams where there are team members who have never seen a rocket launch before in their life and have never put together a model rocket. So it's a great beginner first step for many folks to just kind of get excited. I know Charlie, he uses those as an outreach and as a recruitment tool. And I always put him on the spot, but I love his idea and I love what he's doing at Fort Lewis College. And we give you 1 motor. We give you the casing at the competition, and which you then return to us, the casing, not the used motor, can't use that. And then we give you ejection charges. We provide your hotel. And again, as I'm saying these things, these are for the US teams. We are not, because we're federally funded, we cannot financially support our international teams, but we do have an international team that competes. We provide hotel accommodations for the launch weekend. Your team will receive a maximum of 3 rooms for 3 nights at a hotel that we select. We'll have teams staying at 2 different hotels, I believe. I don't know if we're going to have to go to a third, but definitely 2 hotels. And we'll have everybody housed in those 2 locations. And then we provide select meals for you. So we'll give you the Friday breakfast, lunch, and then Saturday lunch and dinner. Okay. And I can't remember, Connie, last year, did we do bagels in the morning on Saturday? Sorry, we just had a hyper jump. Mark, I believe it is you.
Yeah, hey everyone. So back to the scoring breakdown for Mars and Moon's teams. And just a note now that Gateway teams are not scored during the competition, even though they do give virtual presentations and we give you feedback to help you improve your rocketry and presentation and technical skills. But for the Mars and Moon teams, the overall breakdown is 75% or 75 points of your overall score come from your written reports and your presentations. And you can see that most of the score, usually 15% or 15 points are given for your written reports at each of the stages. So preliminary design report, critical design, and flight readiness make up a significant portion of your overall score. So if you're looking to win the competition, whether you're a new team or a returning team, you need to spend some time on those written reports. And then lower scores, of course, the proposal and then the presentations make up 5 points each. Your launch weekend presentation will make up 5 points as well overall. And then during launch weekend, 20 points are given for your flight and your vehicle performance and your challenge performance, how well you address the challenge that you are in. So that makes up a total of 100 points. And then above and beyond the 100 points, like we mentioned, you can do an educational outreach award or project for a bonus of up to 10 points. So 10 points is significant. I believe we've had teams in the past, that's the make or break, who've pushed teams into the #1 spot above the second place team. If a first place team does an outreach award and the second place team doesn't, it makes a difference. So start planning those outreach projects early. Oh, and then let me get to the fine print. Submissions received after 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time on the due date receive a 20% deduction for each day that they are late. So even if you find that, come Sunday night, you're writing a report, or Monday day, classes are busy and you can't get to it till Tuesday, still turn in the report. You may lose, 10, 20%, but it's better to have a report in and get us, to give you feedback and keep you on track at that milestone. Oh, this is me too. So then design reports overview, going a little more detail on the design reports. The purpose of your written reports are to communicate the engineering design effort involved. It explains to us, you perform analysis of predicted performance. So you'll be using RockSim for all of your rocket simulations, and you just kind of convey the results of the RockSim, or shows that you've been using the RockSim to simulate your vehicle performance in each of your reports. So your proposal, I think we also expect you to have started using RockSim before your proposal is due. So if you haven't looked into RockSim, there's information in the handbook to support that for you. Your design reports, of course, you compare your actual and predicted performance. So this is kind of talking about the post-launch assessment, right? So it's kind of like any science experiment. You make a prediction up front, what you expect your vehicle to do and how to perform. And then after the flight, right, you kind of compare, well, how did we actually do back to our predictions? And then your reports also show the design and construction of your rocket.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
Something happened to your audio.
Again, I might have to switch to that. Let me finish this slide. So the design reports show the design and construction of your rocket. So with pictures and diagrams, we like to see that your rocket's coming along nicely. So reports are due when posted on the website calendar. There's a link to the calendar. You can also find that on the WSGC website for the calendar. And you must use the report and presentation templates. So again, there's a link for the report and presentation templates. I know some of you are teams who've been here before, veteran teams. Keep in mind that the templates change every year as we change the handbook. So try not to reuse last year's reports. Try and start fresh with the fresh template. So you're addressing the current, expectations of the challenge that year. And then note there are 5 reports and 3 presentations due each year. That's you, Chris. I think.
So looking at the calendar, key dates, and I'd say just thinking through, this first semester of school would be that you submit your notice of intent to compete by Friday. And Gateway, you have that little bit longer deadline. But if you are interested in the virtual workshop in January, then you will want to submit the request for the virtual workshop by Friday. Okay, so request for the virtual workshop by Friday and then if you want the virtual, your notice of intent has to be submitted as well. Then we begin this whole series of webinars, and we've got some great ones lined up this year. So on October 25th, we're gonna have host a webinar on what does it mean to have a EEE rocketry or a National Association of Rocketry mentor, and how that assists your team and the benefits to it from both the advisor, student, mentor position. And then later that week, we'll have the award announcements of who has been selected to participate in the program. And then on November 1st, we will have a kickoff meeting. And it will again be at 4 o'clock Central Daylight Time. It'll be Zoom just like this. And we'll go over, the key things that you need to know as we start the competition year. November 8th, you will have a proposal, a budget, and a design review development webinar. And so this is really great. Every one of those components are judged or scored if you're in the Moon and Mars program. So this will really help you to be able to set yourself up for success and plan for the year in those key areas. Your award acceptance materials will be due on November 14th. And then structures webinar on the 15th, project management on November 22nd, RockSim on November 29th. And you can see it's robust. The key thing to remember is with the webinars, it is an elective. It isn't something that it is mandatory to attend. We just strongly encourage at least one team member to get on and participate because there's such valuable information during these webinars. And they're not just hosted by us, but from professionals as well. And then your proposal will be due December 12th with the preliminary budget. You'll have your first fly sheet, which we'll go over in the kickoff meeting, and your RockSim will be due. And then again, one more webinar before we close out the 2022 year, and that would be your build and assembly techniques webinar. So that's what we have for that timetable. Again, January, we're going through more of the webinars. We have the different design reviews, virtual presentations. One of the key dates, February 20th. I wanted to point out that is the day that the patch design is due. And so we do appreciate the arts and bring that into STEM to make it STEAM. And individuals can submit a design that will be, we will select one and it will be used for our patch for this year's competition. And again, more information about the launch month. And then we notify the winners in June. And then our next step winners attend Rock On, typically in June. And we have our grand prize trip typically in August. This year there's been delays. And so Our grand prize winners will be attending their VIP tour in November 9th and 10th of this year. So pretty excited about that. So reach for the stars. Uh-oh, what happened here? We'll go there. Reach for the stars. This is a new component to our competition this year and something that we are doing. So each team, you know, Mark talked about those extra 10 points for outreach. Each team may request a Reach for the Stars National Rocket Competition kit. And what it does is it basically provides you 15 quote unquote Estes rockets that you can conduct a specific outreach event based upon Reach for the Stars rules for 15 students ages 10 through 18. Each kit is worth about $25 per student. And so, you know, if you're looking at, what is it, $375 quote unquote gift or package that you can utilize for an outreach event. And basically what they would be trying to do is launch a rocket and land closest to a specific point. And then that information is submitted to Reach for the Stars, and whoever is, I think they select 3 to 5 students, and those 3 to 5 students that are closest to, and it may be more than that, my apologies, I don't know off the top of my head, are selected to go down to Huntsville to the Space and Rocket Center in Huntsville, Alabama. So key changes for 2023, for those of you who are returning, and this isn't a first time. The FNL website now has a video series of instructional videos and webinars that you can find. There is only one competition motor provided per team. We have new awards, which would be the top advisor, the top team lead, and the rookie team. So an award given out to one of our brand new teams. We have Reach for the Stars. And then the challenges are building off each other, which we talked about. Our focus this year is structures. And so we have 2 rockets in Gateway, specific components in Moon, all components in Mars. So if we're at preliminary design and you selected the Mars challenge and your team is just finding that they cannot keep up with it and they're not going to be successful, and you're tempted to maybe drop out because you're like, I don't think we can do it. We've made it so that you can drop back down to the Moon and still participate, but it's not going to be as rigorous as what it would be. And likewise on the opposite side, you're starting off and you're like, whoa, we thought we only could do the Moon challenge, but our team's rocking it. And so, you know, we would like to request maybe be moved up to Mars because it would meet the needs of our team better. Those requests can be made through, I believe it's the preliminary design report, but after that, we won't make any more changes. That's the extent of what we were able to do. We do ask every team to still have a COVID-19 safety plan just in case, and making sure that they're following, that they would have a local launch site if for any reason we needed to cancel. They have a local mentor, which is that EEE Rocketry Association or National Association of Rocketry individual, and then connected to a local prefecture. And that's something that Mark helps each team be able to find if they don't have one already or can't find one. So, Mark.
How's that? Is the audio better? All right. Okay, so advisor support, right? So I mentioned earlier on, one of my key focuses is just helping the advisors. I think I see a lot of returning advisors like Steve and Charles. You guys are fine. You guys kind of know what's going on. Nothing really new to report here. But for any new advisors, for any new teams or new students or new advisors that are on, I can pair you up with an experienced advisor to provide support and advice if that's something you feel like you need to make your first year a little bit easier. We also just providing team outreach efforts. So again, if you're a new team or you haven't done outreach before, the Rockets for Stars is that what it's called? Is a new program this year, but there's also other programs, other ideas that we can give you to do for local outreach.
Reach for the Stars.
Sorry, Reach.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Rockets for Schools, Reach for the Stars,
Reach for the Stars is optional.
It all kind of blends together after a while. Yeah. So just giving you ideas to the advisors, right, for more outreach support. And then, like Christine said, right, providing you support to find your NAR or EEE mentor. So this is kind of a requirement. We want you guys to be safe and be following all safety rules and laws in your state, across the country, when it comes to regards to handling rocketry components and flying and testing successfully, safely. So once you submit your NOI, I will be notified of your team. I'll reach out to your team lead or your advisor and kind of make sure that you guys either have a mentor in the works, or if you need help with a mentor, I will help you once you submit your NOIs. And then next step opportunities. Again, this is kind of for the veteran advisors. You know, sometimes your team works up and you know, you're kind of ready to move on to the next step. Your team's kind of grown a little bit, and maybe you have a lot more resources and capability than you thought you first had when you first joined FNL. So there are other competitions. NASA has a rocketry competition, Student Launch Initiative, which I competed in as a student. Is it not Colorado anymore for Rock On? We didn't update that slide.
Yeah,
So Rock On is
it.
another, Rock On's another next step opportunity. And then Spaceport America Cup is another high-powered rocketry competition, which is for the international community. There's up to 100 teams that compete in that competition. It takes place over the summer in New Mexico. I had the pleasure of mentoring a team back in 2018. So I got to go hang out with them in the desert for a good a week there and watching all those rockets launch. So advisors on the call, you know, whether you're new or whether you're not, and if you're looking for support with any of the items listed, please reach out to me.
And the Rock On program now is hosted out of a NASA center, and it is Wallops Flight Facility in Chincoteague, Virginia, I believe it is. So, all right, next. So additional resources. We have the FNL website that you can go to, and there have been some updates. So for those of you who are used to going to the website, we just had a major web development and everything migrated over about a week and a half ago. So if you're having issues or problems getting things submitted or a link isn't working, please let us know. I've been in daily conversations with the IT folks trying to make sure we haven't missed anything, but of course we have. Steve, I did see your question. So authorized user, and I'm trying to remember, you may have to, it shouldn't be requiring it, but afterwards we can walk through, after everybody's off, we can actually go in and sign in as you and see if we can see what you're seeing, and whether it's Connie or Courtney, if you guys want to even maybe play a little bit while we're finishing up here. Tools and tips. So tools and tips on our website, they have between the forms and the video resources, etc. You'll find all that kind of stuff, important information in our tools and tips page. We have the calendar. There's the FAQ, which will tell you, like, what do I wear when I travel to Wisconsin? We'll have that information. Or what airport do I fly into? Because there's multiple airports that you can come into in our area. And then the application process, there's report templates, scoring rubrics, patch contest, competition prizes, awards, and the history of the program. You know, for those of you who haven't been with the program before, First Nations Launch started out of a statewide competition that we host in Wisconsin, and College of Menominee Nation participated in that competition, and they said, we need to have something like this for Native students. And from that, First Nations Launch was born. And so one of the things that we always encourage the teams, and it is a question some of the advisors will ask us, do we have to have an all Native team in order to be able to participate? This program is designed for Native American students, but we also include students that are not Native. We just ask that in your proposal, and you'll see this as templates come out, that you show us how you are trying to engage the Native community at your individual academic institution, because that's what's important. That's what we're trying to do, is try to bring the Native community together. So I hope that answers the question, because I know I've been asked that at AISES by a couple of folks. And here we are, and you can see some great photos taken last year. On the left, 2 of our students getting their Launch to Learn certification rocket. The group in the middle, Carthage College, is located on the shores of Lake Michigan, and that is right outside of our campus. And that was our group last year at Carthage for the Launch to Learn workshop. And then on the right, you will see some of our judges, and that is the Navajo Tech team from last year. And we have 2 judges from NASA JPL. So at this time, we can answer some questions for you. There was a question I did see asking for Reach for the Stars. Is there a time frame for when you have to request that? There is not as of right now. You can request that at any time, I think. I don't know if I put a deadline on it. I will have more information available for you for that at the kickoff meeting.
Before we get into a lot of questions, I do encourage everyone, and spread it out to the rest of your team, to attend at least a couple webinars. Last year and past years before, I've asked teams, have you watched this certain webinar? And they haven't, or haven't had time. I encourage you to at least watch the structures, the recovery, and the altimeter electronic webinars, please. Please try and get those. Otherwise, they will be on the web though, right, to review?
Yes.
Okay, but if you do the webinar, then you have questions, you'll get a live answer, because we'll be there to answer them. Anybody have questions?
Because I have a question about the structures. If you're talking about the Mars challenge and making the tubes, you're talking about rolling your own tubes with carbon fiber, that kind of stuff?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. That's good to clarify.
Isn't that exciting?
Yes.
Everything is your choice of manufacturing except for the motor tube.
But we do want, and we'll go over this in the kickoff meeting, we do want to stress that that is for the students to be doing, and not taking it, down to a different, shop to have done for them by a professional. We are anticipating and expecting that students are doing the work. They may work with an individual, right, or a machine shop or what have you, but not to just drop off and be done. Mark, you looked at me crazily. So if you want to.
No, I was going to say, I will test and I will know. I'm a structures engineer at Blue Origin. So any students that plan on not making their tubes, I will question you about how they made the tubes. So I'll know if the students actually made them or not. So.
I assume that would come out to if we don't do the work by ourselves, right? Because we're going to have our virtual presentations and we're going to be writing up the documents that say what our process is. So is that kind of a way to kind of keep that integrity in there as well?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why we have kind of those milestones along the way. I think like every 6 weeks we kind of have a milestone. It's kind of just to review your reports and kind of make those course corrections if you're kind of straying from the expectations, or if you're right on course, or if even the team kind of has some questions and it's like we're not sure which direction to proceed or how far along we should be at this milestone. We'll give you feedback at each of the milestones, so feel free to reach out.
Okay, and then I am from United Tribes Technical College here in Bismarck. And Christine, I remember meeting you at the AISES National Convention with Alexa. And so I had just wondered, I know that she was questioning if we don't have the membership or members that have enough time to dedicate to this project. I believe she was asking if we could team up with another college. And is that doable?
That is very doable. There is another, we chatted with another school at the AISES conference. So actually Navajo Tech, they're struggling to maybe even have an advisor, which Mark, I need to follow up with you on. But one of the things that they were considering is that one of the students had done a summer research program with Harvard, and his advisor was there. And so Harvard and Navajo Tech were considering maybe forming a team together and working on their project. So yes, it is possible. I know in the past, and Kelly, I believe you're on the line and you can maybe chat about this. I believe University of Hawaii Manoa and Kapiolani Community College worked together to form a team in years past.
Yes, we actually had some students that joined the team.
Kelly, you need to speak up just a little bit. We're having a really hard time hearing you.
I'm sorry, is that better?
Yes, thank you.
I had myself on mute. Yeah, we actually ended up having a combined team one year. It was more so students who were about to transfer to our four-year campus. They didn't have the resources or the advisor available. So we kind of joined forces, but had a dedicated, I was their formal advisor at the four-year, and their former advisor just kind of jumped in when they were able to. So thank you to Christine and her team for allowing that. But it did actually bring our campuses together and it worked really well, which was nice.
So for them, they were right next to each other, probably what, maybe 5-10 minutes from each other.
Yeah.
Proximity. So it was easy for them to work together on their rocket. So I don't know which school you're thinking of, Daniela. But definitely something you can consider. And, you know, I think we've all learned through COVID that it's amazing what we can do apart, even, you know, so we can do great things and whatever will work for your team. We want you guys to participate and we want you to be successful. And as our founder used to say, we just want to get you to the launch pad.
Thank you. Oh, no, I was just going to say thank you. All of the information is great. And so I will take that back to my AISES chapter. And I know we are very interested in participating. So this is great. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks. Any other questions? And a reminder, I did put in the chat, but if you have not put your school in the chat, please do so. Just so that we have a good record of everybody that attended.
I just had one question too. For the Launch to Learn program, when are the deadlines to submit members for that?
Good.
December 16th is the deadline for the virtual.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you, Courtney.
No problem.
Thank you.
Yeah, but then for the virtual, weren't you saying that the deadline to register was this Friday?
I think I made a mistake, maybe. I don't know. Courtney, you want to look at our, I'm looking, sorry.
No problem. This Friday is the NOI due date.
Yeah, then on your screen, it says request for virtual workshop due on the 21st as well.
Well, that's a really good question. Thanks for
Yes,
catching something that I missed there.
For December 16th is the request for the virtual workshop deadline. December 16th is the deadline for the virtual Launch to Learn request.
And that is correct. And my apologies. It looks like it got translated into our PowerPoint. We just double put it. We might have been copying and pasting. So my apologies for the confusion, but December 16th is correct.
Great. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that was my question because I saw the 21st and then they're saying that. So it is the 16th of December.
Yep. Yes. I love your background there, Scott. That's great. You had you sent students last year.
Yeah, I had to crop out. Unfortunately, I tried to focus on ours and was able to get Mark in there too. So
that's great. Hey Scott. Oh no, let's see. I'm trying to think. Is anybody on who's attended Launch to Learn?
I did the virtual 2 years ago.
And do you want to maybe share a little bit about your experience with folks that might be considering that?
I was thinking, I just curious how that was going to go, because since I've never done such a thing, and did I have the right equipment and stuff? But all the supplies that you sent was enough. All I needed really was the space and the internet connection, and then everything else kind of went smoothly from there. The only hiccup I had was, and I think Mark touched on before, is that I let my dog chew on some of my fins, and so
I remember that.
Yeah,
but everything
unfortunately,
went well. I was able to launch my rocket and got certified.
yeah, unfortunately, he dropped off, but Osvaldo was on and he dropped off, but he was in our workshop last year.
Good catch, Mark. All right, well, it is 5:01. I am going to stop recording at this point, and also, well, in theory, I'm going to.